Hey guys, welcome to this session. Welcome to this new topic. It's called movement. This is one of the characteristics of living things, which in our very past videos we listed them, discussed them shortly. So today, let's move on and dive on to this topic, movement. We'll start with the introduction to this topic. Uh, we'll start seeing first meaning or the concept of movement and the locomotion. So movement and locomotion, these are the common terms that you find in this topic, movement, which is one of the characteristics of living things. Now, simply you can say that the movement refers to the change of position and posture. So when an organism changes its position from one place to another or its posture, it's what we call movement. Therefore, it is the one that results to the change of position of body parts such as limbs and other body parts of an organism. While when we talk about locomotion, this is the movement or change of the position of the whole organism from one place to another. So there you have it, the difference between locomotion and the movement. Simply, locomotion is part of the movement, but uh, not all movements are locomotion. So locomotion simply is just the movement or change of the position of the whole organism. Means that not just a single part of organism or just a certain body part of an organism, but the whole body is the one that moves from one place to another. Moving on, but normally organisms have different kinds of movements. Take an example, the plants show movement, but they do not show locomotion. As the plants, they cannot move their whole body, but they move just some parts of them. Take an example from there, from the image there, you see that the plant moves uh, towards the light. The plant just bends towards the light. Now that's just kind of a response of a plant moving to light. That is known as phototropism. So it's just a condition of a plant just to move to a certain kind of condition whereby there you see that it needs light. So there's a movement of some part of the plant towards the light. So since locomotion involves the coordination between the nervous, muscular and the skeletal system, and all these systems enable the organism to locomote, while the movement just requires just a single part of the body of an organism to move. As you can see there, phototropism, only the stem and the leaves of the plant are the ones that have moved, but the roots have remained intact within that container. So there you have it, the difference between movement and locomotion and the concept of movement and locomotion in briefly. Now let's move on to the importance of movement in living things. We know that living things are mainly made up of plants and animals. So this kind of characteristics, that is movement, has major and various importance to plants and animals. So the plants and the animals move about in order as to have the following, or just in order for the following to happen. The first one is that to find a mate to reproduce. So reproduction cannot take place without movement. So plants and animals need movement as an important move or as an important characteristic of them in order they should find a mate so they can reproduce. The second one is that uh, escape from danger. Plants and animals have various ways to tackle or to just find themselves in safe conditions. So the other one is just to escape from danger. If the plants or maybe animals, example, maybe an antelope sees maybe a lion, it has to move. So it has to locomote from one place to another just to escape from the hungry lion to be eaten. But also plants, they can have some kind of movements just to escape from various dangerous situations that maybe due to lack of water, maybe they move to the area of water, whereby it's not the whole plant that moves, but some of the parts that is uh, the root are the ones that move, and maybe they need maybe light. The plants have been situated in a dark room. They will have to escape from that kind of situation if there's a simple light, or just a certain amount of light is provided somewhere else. The some of the part of the plant will try to move toward that kind of area. The third one, that animals and plants move about in order to seek and capture food. We know that plants and animals, they require food as to gain nutrients that will help them to grow and develop, and also as to live and survive. So without movement, sometimes it will be difficult to seek and capture the food. But thanks to movement, the plants and animals can move to various places just to get food. Take an example, uh, maybe an antelope can move to a place where there's grass, and where there's grass so they can eat. And also even plants, they'll move to a example, take an example, plant roots, they'll move to a place where there's plenty of nutrients. Example, the roots, they'll move deeper to seek the nutrients they need to grow. So there's an example of how animals and plant move about in order to seek and capture food. The fourth one is that to seek shelter, a suitable habitat, or climate. Example, animals, they require maybe a place to settle. Take an example, as humans, we also grouped here where we can look for a place to shelter. Without movement, it would have been very difficult to seek a place for shelter. Also, other animals, example, when there's a situation they need to settle, and that's how they have to move from one place to another, in case of just having a place to shelter or to stay. The fifth one is that to avoid competition for food or water, living space, etc. Plants and the animals, they need to move just to avoid the competition. Maybe take an example, the animals, they will need to move from one place to another if there is a huge competition for food and water and other living space. So they require movement in order to have a sustainable place to live and acquire the needs they need. The sixth one is that you find water, soil nutrients, and all leaves to get maximum sunlight. Here we're talking about plants, whereby they require movement in order to look for the important nutrients they need, the soil and water. And also these plant leaves, they sometimes hold to maximum places just to get a sustainable amount of sunlight. The other one is that to seek and capture food, we've already seen that one. In case of plants also, they will try to move on just to get their required nutrients. The another is to obtain support. When we're talking about support, it means that take an example, plants. There are some plants that they cannot hold on to themselves as in order to get the important nutrients they need to grow. Take an example, the leguminous plants, example beans, they require maybe a place or just a stem to sustain themselves. Now, the plant leaves are the ones that require to move just in order to obtain that place so they can support themselves. The other one is just to protect themselves from damage. Take an example from touch, pressure, pain, or sudden temperature change. We've seen that plants can move away from situations that are not conducive to them. The same as goes to animals, where there's is places where there isn't a good or sustainable amount of temperature, they will move that place. So all these are there just because of movement. Also, the other one is just to disperse seeds. These dispersed seeds, the other way where plants they will try to reproduce themselves. As plants they will try to disperse the seeds from one place to another. Now this is the other importance of how movement can assist in reproduction. So I hope it's clear, guys. Thank you for listening. We've simply seen the introduction to movement. We've seen the meaning of movement and the meaning of locomotion. We've seen how they can be differentiated to one another, and we've also seen the various importance of movement to living things, both animals and plants. Thank you.